Hello, 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 and what's up, everybody? I'm hoping everybody out there had a very safe New Year's and holiday in general. But yeah, we got a lot going on tonight. I haven't done one of these in a while, but before we actually kick off this review, make sure everybody goes out there and watch the AEW Worlds in Review with myself, Straight Face 40, and Black Shaggy, which is online right now. But this is the day one edition of Monday Night Raw. They're not really doing this in a pay-per-view format anymore, so they're just going to make it part of Monday Night Raw and load this show up as much as what they can. And we kicked it off tonight in San Diego, California. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett were in the ring basically talking about what's going on tonight on Raw, but we kicked it off with Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax. Obviously, they've been building this up for a few weeks now, and especially since the whole Becky getting punched in the face by Nia Jax a few years ago and whatnot. It was a good match, I will say that. Nia Jax going over, beating Becky Lynch once again with a big punch in her in the face, which she did bleed, and then hitting the Annihilator on her. Obviously, they're still trying to get Nia Jax over as a monster again, which it looks like it's been seeming to be working. She hasn't hurt anybody yet, I'm assuming, but it seems to work right now. And I think with Becky taking a loss right now, obviously she's probably gonna hit stronger to the Royal Rumble. Apparently she may win it. I'm not really sure, but yeah, Nia Jax going over right here basically made her look real strong, beating Becky Lynch, so not bad. Next they went to Cody Rhodes, which Cody was in his gear. I actually thought he was about to have his match with Nakamura tonight, but he said so. San Diego, what y'all want to talk about? He talked about being on the day one edition of Raw, but he talked about Nakamura and his little Christmas story he had going on a few weeks ago. Shinsuke was on the screen talking about, it's going to be the final chapter. He had subtitles, Blinding Roads with the Mist. It's going to end. So you have one more week to dream. We're not going to end it tonight. So next week will finally be Cody Rhodes versus Shinsuke Nakamura again. I actually thought it was going to happen right now, given Cody was already in his gear, but I'm probably just doing that for a dark match, I guess. But like I said, this match is just promoted for next week, so we'll see what happens. Also, CM Punk will be on Raw next week. Next was Kofi Kingston and Jey Uso going against Imperium. Now, obviously, I'm sure everybody was talking about this tonight. It was a ref stoppage in this match due to Giovanni Vinci getting hurt. Now, to what I saw was Giovanni Vinci, like, he went on the top rope. He kind of went back off, like was kind of going for a crossbody. It looked like, jumping off of it. Kofi hit a drop kick in midair, and if you go back and look, he did kind of hit his head on the mat pretty hard. Kind of going back and look at it a few times. So the referee ended up stopping it, and basically the match ended from there because they kept putting the camera on Jey Uso, and I think the ref did put the X sign up. So like I said, Kofi and Jay won pretty, and like Giovanni Vinci did get up and he did walk away on his own, with the doctor and everything. Like I said, hopefully he's okay. Hope he wasn't concussion or nothing like that. But he did hit it uh, pretty hard on the mat. But like I said, he did walk out on his own merit. Like I said, hopefully nothing bad didn't really happen to the guy. But like I said, they took safety precautions and made sure he was okay and didn't want to risk it, especially after hitting his head real hard right there. So pretty somewhat scary stuff there in a way. They talked about the holiday tour they've been having lately. Of course, Madison Square Garden. Um, the Miz was out there for Miz TV, which he called out the Judgment Day, but we got up R-Truth being the newest member of the Judgment Day. But Miz said you're the most likable person in the Judgment Day, and Truth's looking around. Miz said you're not talking to invisible people again, are you? And he says there's little Jimmy here, and he says no, 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 just have a seat, all right? And all rise for the Judgment Day, and Truth saying we were doing PR work, administrative work. Nobody likes the Judgment Day and whatnot. Next thing you know, Dominic and McDonough walked out there, basically saying you're not a member, you're not in Judgment Day. They booed at Dominic, which I think Cole had said they don't even like you in your hometown. And Truth says, I want that lose the least Judgment Day match. So, McDonough, you out, I'm in. And, Miz said, we can't hear you, Dominic. And, you've been getting whipped around by everybody, including CM Punk. And Dominic tried to talk. And Miz basically said if everybody wants to see a match. And Truth was wondering who he was going to tag with. And then Truth said, Miz, like, you're tagging with me. You're tagging with me. So, we got the return of the awesome Truth going against Dominic and McDonough right there. Pretty good match. It was funny. Truth's always hilarious out there. I'm loving this Judgment Day thing stuff with him. So I like Truth is just funny, and it was cool to see Awesome Truth back in general. So yeah, they ended up beating Judgment Day right here. Good stuff. I know they had like a segment with Caden and Casey. I guess they were at the club partying since that's the whole gimmick of being ravers and all of that and partying. They were partying with the tag team titles. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven walked in, I guess, into the VIP section, and they want their titles back by next week. And they said they're fighting champions, and they threw a drink in what Chelsea Green's face while they walked away. Rhea Ripley went against Ivy Nile for the women's title. It was a good match. We don't really see Ivy Nile that much in the ring, to be honest. I didn't really see a lot of her in NXT. Also, it was kind of botchy a few times here and there, but it wasn't bad. They did give them a lot of time, and the crowd did seem to like it a lot too. So like I didn't mind it. I knew Ripley was gonna win in general, so there's no really surprise there about that. But like I said, it wasn't a bad match. They gave Nile a lot of offense out there too against Ripley, so. It was okay. I didn't think it was a bad match, but the crowd did get behind it though. Um, right after that, we did see who was going to be the return of this former WWE champion. For some reason, people thought it'd be Andrade when he's not a former WWE champion, but they waited and it ended up being Jinder Mahal. And I knew it was going to be some bait and switch thing right here. And Cole, was saying this is what we got, right? And the crowd seemed disappointed. They were all mad, and Jinder, which who has kind of been around mostly just in this year, but saying I am a former WWE champion, and talked about you all need to respect me, and that America was once a great nation, but they're not as powerful as they was. They've fallen off. I'm not gonna go into a whole political thing because yeah, it's a lot to say, a lot about this country and everything, but it's not the time to go into that right now. But honestly, this dude Jinder was talking for a minute until they sent somebody out there, and he's just talking, and the country is divided. Y'all wants a superpower, and it's a joke. There's probably some truth to that. Um, I'm a great unifier, and he starts talking in his own language then in Punjabi, and he says you all boo your own national anthem, and like he's just talking and talking and like so this is going on. Even I'm going like, okay, wrap it up. Who's coming out? Who's coming out? And then The Rock comes out, gets a massive pop, and Rock, just just a lot, just of course doing The Rock stuff and get ready for comedy hour right here. So it's time to get comedy with The Rock. And he says, "Oh, you in trouble tonight? All right." And he says, you're right about one thing. You're not the Iron Sheik, and he tried to impersonate the Iron Sheik, and he says, "Hey, you is this no good jabroni bastard, you son of a bitch." She went on about, and Jinder talked about, oh, you're supposed to be the people's champion, and The Rock talked about, I'm proud to be an American and all that. I'm finally The Rock is back in San Diego. He does this whole thing there. He says, you're not the Iron Sheik, and they boo at you because you're the biggest asshole on God's green earth. But listen, this whole thing was just Rock cursing out the classic Rock stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, this promo was going on for a while because honestly, this was another one of these Rock comes back and just belittle who's ever in the ring, talk about him, and then hits like a rock bottom or a people's elbow, and that's kind of it. Of course, the crowd's gonna eat up to everything about it though. But like I said, The Rock just talk about, yo, yeah, you got your angry face on. But now, yeah, we've seen the resting bitch face and all that. And one thing I thought was funny he did say though was, so you haven't seen one of my movies, and he says if you want his movies to be Baywatch, and he said I didn't see Baywatch. He says no one else did either. I actually thought that was funny. But Rock, it doesn't matter, and he's get the USA chant, and he's still being American and all that, and freedom of speech, and it's gonna be consequence. And then he tells the crowd, okay, just like he did on SmackDown, literally like 3 months ago, except he didn't say asshole this time, but he says, okay, you all say day one, and you all say douchebag. Day one, douchebag. Day one, douchebag. And they did that, and like I said, this is going on a pretty long time. But all right, this is where the fun stops, and then he's kind of singing his own theme, national anthem, but his own words in it. You're an angry, toxic douchebag who clearly has no class. Now The Rock has no choice to whoop your candy ass. And Jinder hits him, and The Rock battles back. He does the punches. He does the spine buster. He does the people's elbow. And then, we wished everybody a happy new year. And, I'm hungry. What should I eat? And should I sit in a booth? Should I sit at the bar? I like the bar too, but, or should I sit at the head of the table? And the crowd went nuts. This is the only important thing out of this segment is him saying that. So I'm assuming The Rock versus Roman Reigns is coming, and I'm sure Cody Rhodes should be fuming in the back right now, as my friend Steven would say, because yes, will he ever finish the story now that The Rock has gotten in the way of this now? So, he did it. You smelled The Rock was cooking, and that was it. But that is the only big thing to take away from this segment, because everything else was just classic comedy, Rock stuff when he comes back and does his thing. But the main important, noteworthy thing to take away from this was, should I sit at the head of the table? So I'm sure The Rock versus Roman Reigns is going to be coming soon, and I'm sure it will be for the WWE title. So we'll see what happens. But right after that, I know it was Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark versus Tegan Knox and Natalya. I don't really care. Apparently, this may have been for a title shot. I just know Shayna and them won, so and then again the crowd looked like they didn't care either. But we finally did get to the main event. Was the world title on the line? Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. This is a good match. Obviously, it was going to be something big. Um, of course, Judgment Day came out with like it's gonna be a cash in. It looks like, but no, not no cash in here. Drew ended up taking out both Dominic and Damian Priest. In after that, he got in the ring, hit a Claymore kick on Seth, even though like it didn't hit him all the way. He pinned him, but he pulled Rollins up so high that he ended up hooking his leg all the way into the ropes, which basically the referee caught. Drew threw him out to the outside to the table then. But Seth ended up hitting a pedigree onto the table, threw Drew back into the ring, hit the curb stomp. It's over. Seth retained the world title then after that. So good matchup out there. Figured Seth was going to win anyways. They did kind of protect Drew out here in a way with the whole cash in, obviously, and maybe that pin attempt too. But yeah, Seth retained the world title. Not really surprised by that. I will say for this day one Raw review right here, obviously The Rock was probably the biggest thing they could put out here, especially teasing, a champion, a former WWE champion is going to be returning tonight. So that was probably the biggest thing they could honestly did put out here of this show that had the crowd going nuts. Not saying everything else was bad, but that was the biggest thing that they put out here on Raw tonight. So, the day one edition was pretty good. I will say that. It was somewhat noteworthy. Obviously, The Rock saying head of the table and stuff. The Judgment Day, R-Truth stuff is always funny. Jax, Becky wasn't a bad match. The main event was pretty good too. Like I said, not surprised Seth won from there, but still a pretty good match overall. So, yeah, that's all I really got to say about Monday Night Raw tonight. Oh, yeah, and also hopefully Vinci is okay after that, after the whole possibly being injured out there, or maybe concussion. We don't know what happened if he has a concussion and that, but like I said, the whole referee stoppage during that match, they did what they could to get him out of there safely, and hopefully he's not hurt. So yeah, other than that, I'm out of here. See you guys then. Peace.